News at 6.
Tuscaloosa school leaders speak out about a new law changing the school calendar and what that could mean for your child. And
it's been over 2 years since one woman was cleared of all capital murder charges. I'm Taylor Sanders, and coming up, I'll have the details on why she continues to fight with the state for justice.
Plus, see who's shining the spotlight on Alabama seafood.
You're watching Alabama's WVUA News at 6.
WVUA is covering Pickens County tonight, where it's been a long road for a Carrollton woman who was once accused of capital murder.
WVUA's Taylor Sanders shows you her story of faith and persistence.
For Bridget Lee, it's been a long fight for justice since she was wrongfully accused of killing her newborn baby in 2006.
It's time together that we'll never get back.
Lee was indicted for capital murder and spent 9 months in jail and 20 months in home confinement. But after taking a closer look at the autopsy, a 6-person panel declared the baby was stillborn, clearing Lee of all her charges. And now she is fighting back and has countless letters from former prosecutors like this one.
While the medical evidence appeared to support this prosecution initially, it turned out that this evidence was completely wrong and no prosecution should ever have been undertaken. I mean, it's okay, the state can take our freedom. They can take all of your worldly possessions. But when they mess up, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I got an I'm sorry.
Alabama laws allow state legislature to compensate people who are wrongfully incarcerated, but that isn't the case with Lee. Senator Arthur Orr allotted a nearly $119,000 to Lee for payment, but was later dropped from the House version of the bill.
And I just wish that the legislators and the senators would put themselves in our place and look at what we went through because of the negligence of an employee of the state of Alabama.
Since 2006, when Lee was accused of capital murder and then found innocent, it's been a constant battle with the state to find justice. And now, Lee says it's not over yet.
I won't quit. I'm going to keep on fighting because I don't want other people to have to ever go through anything like this.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Taylor Sanders, WVUA News.
And Lee says she will continue to fight for the justice she says she deserves.
On your Education Watch tonight, big changes are coming for the school year schedule. Summer vacation will be a little longer this year for Alabama's public school students. The Alabama legislature voted to override Governor Robert Bentley's veto of a bill changing the school year calendar. The new law says the 2012-2013 school year cannot start more than 2 weeks before Labor Day and must end by the Friday before Memorial Day. Lawmakers saying these changes to the law would extend Alabama's tourist season and therefore allow the state to collect more tax revenue. Tuscaloosa school leaders are speaking out about the change, saying taking away instructional time is not a way to solve any problem. They say it will only create more problems in the long run for students.
I'm a little disturbed that the legislature has decided to enact laws to take the local discretion from school boards on what school calendar would best fit their situation.
All children benefit from more days in school. We place ourselves in the category of schools, of countries, of third world countries that go to school longer than we do.
The bill is set to only be in effect for 15 months. The same restrictions would apply for the opening of the 2013 and 2014 school year. Then the legislature would decide whether to continue that practice.
On your Education Watch, charter schools in Alabama. The idea of charter schools in Alabama is dead for now. And that's good news according to some local school leaders. As we have reported, the legislature killed the bill. Charter schools would be taxpayer-funded facilities operating outside the regulations that most public schools must follow. Tuscaloosa County Schools Interim Superintendent Dan Butler told us he's glad the bill did not pass. Meanwhile, Tuscaloosa City Schools Superintendent Dr. Paul McKendrick has gone on record saying his biggest concern is how charter schools would be funded.
An Alabama teen has been charged with murder in connection with the death of his half-sister. It happened in St. Clair County in the town of Ragland. St. Clair County Sheriff identified the victim as 9-year-old Caitlin Arnold. Her body was discovered Thursday night hanging from a rope at a tree at her home. The suspect is her 14-year-old half-brother. Authorities say the children were under foster care with their aunt and uncle.
WVUA is covering the Alabama legislature, where the House approved a $1.4 billion general fund budget. The House approved a budget that moved $184 million from the Alabama prison system to fund Medicaid. A Senate committee had approved a budget that depends on voters approving a transfer of the money from an oil and gas revenue savings account and from education funds. Now, the state's plan left funding holes in corrections but not Medicaid, and the bill is expected to be debated further next week. Now, if you're a fan of seafood, listen up. There's a new campaign featuring Alabama's finest.
Gulf Coast promoters launched Eat Alabama's Seafood commercials today. This is a 3-year, $5 million marketing campaign to increase demand for Alabama seafood. It features advertisements on television, print, online sites, also billboards. The ads target state consumers and restaurants across the region, and it's funded with grant money from BP. Parts of the Gulf Coast economy are still recovering from damage caused by the BP oil spill back in 2010. You can learn more about the Alabama Seafood Campaign at WVUATV.com under Numbers and Links. Thousands of SEC fans are in T-Town for the big softball tournament.
And the top 4 seeds play today. Record crowds have been pouring in through the gates as nearly 7,000 fans attended yesterday's 4 games. And the crowds are expected to become even bigger. And we spoke with one enthusiastic fan who says that his long trip from Florida was well worth the time.
My family came from Pensacola and I got stuck here, so I'm taking advantage to see my Gators in Alabama. It's rare, so I had to make the trip.